My wife wanted to open up our marriage, so I started dating her boss. Now she wants to close it. Let me just start by saying that I didn't mean to start dating her boss, it all happened accidentally. My wife and I have been married for almost 8 years now. We have always had a healthy marriage and a great intimacy life, or so I thought. It came completely out of the blue when my wife sat me down a couple months ago and said that she was feeling unsatisfied with our physical connection, and she needed something more to be able to feel fulfilled. I was so confused. We are intimate a couple times a week and she never gave any indication that she was feeling unhappy in the bedroom. I was feeling hurt before she even dropped the bomb on me that she wanted to open up our marriage. I felt so small and unwanted as she rambled on about wanting to experience more freedom, but she assured me that she loved me and she wanted to stay together. I asked her why I wasn't enough for her, and if there was anything I could change to make her happier in the bedroom or in our marriage in general. But all she said was that it had more to do with her masculinity than me. This didn't make me feel better, but I love her and we had already been together for so long. I agreed and we decided to be open from that day on. Our only terms was that we had to disclose to the other when we would start seeing other people. The first couple weeks were excruciating. She immediately started seeing a man from her office and I would just stay at home and cry myself to sleep while I pictured her out with a younger, more attractive man. I was devastated for a while and I honestly had zero interest in dating anyone other than my wife. But after 5 months of her dating her one boyfriend, and spending most nights with him instead of at home with me, I decided that I deserved to experience some freedom as well. I made a Tinder account one night while she was out with her boyfriend. I was surprised when I got over 100 matches on the very first night. No one was really catching my attention until matched with this one, very handsome older woman. She seemed very successful and she was a gorgeous silver fox. I ended up messaging her and we went out a couple of days later. I remember the feeling of waiting for her at the bar. It felt nice to have romantic butterflies for the first time in almost a decade. The date went amazingly and we continued seeing each other and eventually slept together. It was one of the most thrilling, erotic nights of my life. I hate to say it, but she was a much more talented lover than my wife, I guess because she was older and had more experience. Anyway, I told my wife about my girlfriend and it honestly seemed like she didn't believe me. She literally patted me on the head and said, "Aw, good for you honey," before heading out the door to spend the night with her boyfriend. Anyway, things got messy in a way I could have never anticipated. I knew this situation was already sort of rocky, but now I truly feel like I'm living inside a soap opera. Yesterday my girlfriend texted me asking if she had left a manila folder in my car the last time we saw each other. I found the folder and she asked if I could drop it off at her job. I was off that day and I figured they were important work documents, so I gathered the folder and a little snack and she sent me her location so I could come drop it off. You can imagine how stunned I was when I followed the address and it took me to my wife's place of work. I had no idea that she and my wife worked together. All I knew was that she was the head of whatever company she worked for, and she held the highest position in her office. She never spoke much about her work and we just liked to relax when we hung out together. Well, I walked into the office feeling awkward about possibly seeing my wife. I walked to my girlfriend's office and she came out to take the folder from me. She thanked me and gave me a little kiss before going back into her office. When I turned around, of course, my wife happened to be walking by at that exact moment. She had obviously seen her boss kiss me and realized that she had been my girlfriend all along. Her mouth made a perfect O shape and there was hurt creeping into her eyes. I felt sort of embarrassed at that moment even though I had done nothing wrong, so I just said hi to my wife quickly and left the office. When my wife finally got home, she broke down in tears and asked how I could do this to her. I reminded her that this entire situation was her idea in the first place. That's when my wife said that she was willing to close the marriage if it meant I would stop seeing her boss. The thing is, I have real feelings for my girlfriend, and I feel like my wife is being controlling and unfair. I find myself doubting my entire marriage and I think I might end up having to choose between the two of them.